The A-class of cars have been out of action over the past year, from the hatchback to the SUV and even the sedan.
And so it's finally here. We finally get to see the production model of Mercedes-Benz A-Class sedan, or as the company calls it, the A-Class Limousine. And why does it call it a limousine? Because it says that the wheelbase is longer than any of its competitors in the market. But it does look like a small C-Class, and that's great because that's what the aspiration is for people to buy a car and enter the luxury car segment. So you have these nice signature LED DRLs, you have this nice looking Pan Americana grille, and of course a nice looking diffuser too. But all of that said, on the profile it still looks pretty simple. It is not aggressive, it's not what you call in your face kind of design. It's sensual, it's elegant, and that's exactly what Mercedes-Benz India wants to bring to the table, especially for those who are just entering the luxury car market.
The tail lamps too add to the overall look of the car. And the design then is progressive and yes, looks great and in tune with the times. The Mercedes A Limo is the replacement to the CLA. And now there is more competition for it in the segment. And with an overall length of 4549 millimeters, it does look long. So let's first take a look at the limousine part of the story. And that of course can mean only one thing: space.
So the big talking point here is about rear seat space, and that's solely because Mercedes-Benz India says that there is enough and more space at the back, and it has the most spacious cabin in its segment. 2729 millimeters of space between the wheels, and that's 59 millimeters more than the rival, according to what we can see. There is decent knee room, there is decent headroom too, but what it misses out on is under thigh support, as you can see right here. Now for long journeys it will be a bit of a trouble to have that under thigh support. It would have made a big difference even if the seats were slightly angular. You get rear AC vents here. You of course have charging points at the rear too. So overall pretty spacious at the rear, definitely, but could have done more with under thigh support.
The cabin overall looks spacious, but it's only on the front seats that you get a whiff of how feature-packed this car really is.
With the A-Class limousine, you have to understand that Mercedes is adopting the top-to-bottom approach. So whichever features that you have seen in, say, the S-Class, the E-Class or the C-Class will definitely trickle down to this one. That is why you have these massive 10.25-inch displays. One is the infotainment system and one for the digital instrument cluster. So this one is a touchscreen infotainment system. This one, touch does not apply to. So as you can see, it's a well laid out cabin, nothing different from what we've seen earlier. A clean kind of a dashboard, and of course the beige and black add to that that sense of elegance to it all. Of course the beige will get dirty, especially in Indian conditions, and a bit worried about that. But the seats are extremely supportive. You have good under thigh support and you have very good lumbar support as well. And then you have this nice sunroof, which Mercedes-Benz calls as the panoramic sunroof, though it's a bit smaller than a panoramic sunroof, of course. Overall though, fit and finish is pretty good, and given that this car is going to be made in India, that's a pretty good proposition.
The A Limousine sees a boot space of 405 litres. Now we know you can see the spare tire there, but Mercedes-Benz promises that the spare wheel will have a space of its own in a recessed area of the boot. So yes, the 405 litres are in play. The list of features is a long one. The A Limousine comes with connected car technology, MBUX, so you can remotely open and close the doors, windows, check the tire pressure, monitor the vehicle status and more. Using the Mercedes Me Connect app, you can also set a geofence, change light settings and even search your vehicle. And don't forget the Hey Mercedes feature.
Hey Mercedes,
What would you like to do?
I want to go to the petrol pump.
Please select an entry.
Of course, you can do a lot more like search for hotels, restaurants, addresses, etc. While it understands colloquial language, it hasn't yet been programmed to understand regional languages like Hindi, Marathi, or since we were in Goa, Konkani. Mercedes also has provided voice assistants like Alexa and Google Home, where you can check the status of your car even without getting off the sofa. But clearly, with a car like this, you wouldn't want to just stay put on the sofa and watch the world go by. You'd rather do it sitting in the front seat.
This one gets a 1.3 litre 4-cylinder motor, churning out 161 brake horsepower and 250 Newton meters of torque. And that torque kicks in as low as around 1650 RPM. Well, it's good to have that, but the transmission does a lot more, because the 7-speed dual clutch transmission this one has to offer actually gives every bit of that power to you and to your disposal. And the paddle shifters just take a second, not even a second, a millisecond to react, and that's why you enjoy driving it. Beyond that, there's a fuel economy figure that Mercedes-Benz has thrown at us, and that is 17.1 kilometers to the litre. That is impressive, and that coming from a car doing a 0 to 100 kilometers per hour sprint in just 8.3 seconds. You know what? We really enjoy that balance, and we really appreciate that balance, because this one is extremely chuckable.
Mercedes-Benz claims that the limousine is the most aerodynamic production car in the world, with a coefficient drag of 0.22. And of course, you get driving modes too, like sport mode, which significantly changes the character of the car. The gear shifts at higher RPMs, and it's just so much more the driver's car you want it to be. The steering too weighs up well at high speeds. And those 17-inch tires help you in appreciating the ride quality of the car.
Now, Mercedes-Benz says that it has tuned the suspension according to Indian needs. It has upped the suspension by about 16 millimeters when compared to the European version, just to ensure that the car doesn't scrape through any of the rough roads that Indian roads has to throw at it. And you get that feeling immediately, because even if you go through rough roads or go through a pothole like that, it doesn't really have a kickback of sorts. It's just comfortable. It takes on everything in its stride, and that's why you don't have to worry about it scraping its underbelly, which the CLA, if you know, used to do a lot. So yes, a big improvement in that department. And yes, the driving dynamics certainly have an effect the way you want to drive on the road.
What also impresses is that the A-Class limousine will also be available with a 2-litre diesel and even an AMG, all of which will be manufactured at the company's plant in Chakan. Mercedes-Benz is also offering it in 6 colors, and for those who want to spend a little extra sprucing up the car, There's the carbon style package and the urban package, which has a whole bunch of elements added to it. Now, the only competition that the A Limousine has in the country is the BMW 2 Series Grand Coupe, and it's already available in both petrol and diesel engine options, and prices for that start at 40,90,000 rupees. Mercedes-Benz, of course, is looking at an aggressive price tag, but given what's on offer, we won't be surprised if the company doesn't undercut its rival. Given that it's offering an 8-year warranty on the engine and transmission and pushing the boundaries when it comes to features, the A-Class limousine becomes a standout product in that segment. And for me, is the ideal car to introduce you to the world of luxury.